Maybe we need a hard reboot.
They get really, they can shoot
Good now?
keys, they can go inside, they can just,
All right. That end of the die is ready? Yeah? All right. We're ready? That was a thumbs up. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and call this regularly scheduled Monday, February 3rd, Planning and Zoning Board meeting to attendance. We apologize for the short delay. We were having some technical difficulties. We are down 2 board members. The Board Member Polo, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That will move us to item 2, which is a quasi-judicial hearing. We're entering quasi-judicial. This means that the board will stop being a legislative body and will become a judicial board. That means we have to follow certain rules and adhere to a different standard of decision-making. The primary rule must follow concerns testimony, and the substantial and competent evidence standard must be met when the judicial board makes a decision. This standard states the following, and I quote, all public testimony will be taken under oath. Everyone testifying will be subject to cross-examination. All documents and exhibits shall be entered into evidence. The giving of opinion testimony is limited to experts, and closing arguments will be limited to the evidence of record. I'm going to ask the attorney at this point to read into the record the resolution by title only.
Mr. Mayor, this is Resolution 2024-51 SE 24-01, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Newberry, Florida, serving as the Board of Adjustment of the City of Newberry, Florida, considering a petition for special exception to establish a small-scale rural event center use in an agricultural A zoning district as authorized under sections 3.2 and 4.4.5 in accordance with section 12.2 of the City of Newberry Land Development Regulations on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Newberry, Florida, more particularly described on the attached Exhibit A to the resolution. Repealing the resolution is a conflict and providing an effective date. The appropriate motion at the appropriate time will be to pass Resolution 2024-51 as read by title only.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to ask you to do double duty tonight and swear in the applicant, staff, and anybody requesting to speak. If you would, please rise. If you think you're going to speak, go ahead and stand up. That way, if you change your mind later on, we don't have to go back a step.
Raise your right hand, and you solemnly swear to and affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Thank you. When you come up to the podium, if you would state your name really clearly, if it's a hard last name to spell, if you give it to Missy there in the back, she'll write it down for you. Okay, so before we begin, we need to disclose any ex parte communications and disclose whether any member physically inspected the property. Remember, ex parte communications are any conversations or transmission of information which may have a bearing or influence on any voting board member's decision. Board Member Parker?
No.
Board Member Polo?
No.
Board Member Urchin? No. I'm a non-voting chair, but I have nothing to disclose as well. I'm going to explain the order of presentations that we will follow for the quasi-judicial item for us tonight. First, we'll hear from the staff with an overview. Then the applicant has the opportunity to make a presentation with no time limit. Then staff's going to give a report and their recommendation, also with no time limit. Nobody's contacted me wishing to claim a third-party intervener status. That's going to move us to public comment. Any members of the public wishing to speak to this agenda item have 3 minutes to do so. After public comments, we will have cross-examinations from both the applicant and the staff. Then members of the decision-making body, through the chair, can ask questions of the staff, applicant, or any of the participants. Then we'll hear final arguments from the applicant and staff. The city attorney will advise the decision-making body its applicable law and factual findings that must be made to approve or deny the application. Then we'll deliberate, and after deliberation, we'll have a motion to approve with conditions, continue, or deny. That's a process we're going to start with. Then go ahead, John Paul, give us a staff overview. Ask and you shall receive.
The request before the approval by a special So the owners of the property were the special exception used.
I'm sorry, John Paul. Missy, can you check our sound to see if we're still projecting? We were, and then we stopped. Showing that's good? Okay, thank you. Go ahead, John Paul, sorry.
Is it my mic that wasn't being?
Maybe speak a little bit louder into it.
Yes, sir. The property is located at 28143 Southwest 46th Avenue. It's at the southeast corner of County Road 337 and 46th Avenue. And again, the request is to establish a special exception. So this image just shows where the property is generally located in the city and some of the surrounding zoning districts, which are all agricultural, including this one. This is a close-up of the property, so you can see the aerial of the property where it will be located. And before we get into the plan view, I just wanted to point out at the top right or the northeast corner of the property, there's a driveway, and that'll be the main ingress and egress for the event, for the small-scale rural event center when it's operational. This is a proposed site layout. In the application, the owner explains that they'll be holding this only on the weekends. It'll be an extension of their currently operating U-Pick for blueberries and peaches that they run currently, which is a by right use. And this is just to help dispose of some of the excess that they have from their growing season, as well as from some of the animals that they raise on the property. It'll have limited parking, 14 stalls. Again, it's on Saturday and Sunday only, so it's outside of the peak hours of traffic. The application proposes them operating from 10 to 6, though we added a condition to limit it from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., keeping it dawn to dusk. So just so they don't have to come back before the board if they want to change the hours of operation, keeping it within reason. And one ADA stall is being provided there. So just going to go through some definitions real quick so we're all on the same page, including folks in the audience or maybe listening from home. A special exception is a use that would not be appropriate generally or without restriction, but if it's controlled, it may be a permissible use. And so special exceptions oftentimes come with conditions, and so staff will create conditions, but that may be not the final list of conditions. There may be some added, there may be some deleted, and the applicant may argue for some to be removed. We do our best to field all those questions and discussions beforehand. And small-scale rural event center, just so you know exactly what the use is. Again, it'll be limited, and each one is tailored specific to the application itself. In this particular case, it's like an outdoor food cafe, farm-to-table cafe. It'll be operating on weekends only. And in their application, they also express that they want to provide some educational opportunities for the patrons. They'll be selling their own agricultural products as well as some stuff that they bring into the site. But primarily it's a farm-to-table cafe style. And in addition to that, special exception criteria are also used in the evaluation of the merits of an application. This list is those items that we look at per the code. And the applicant is here. That completes my introduction of the item. After the applicant gives their presentation, I'll conclude with our findings and recommended motion. Thank you.
All right, thank you, John Paul. Come on down, sir. Join us, introduce yourself to us. Do you have a PowerPoint that we need to load up, or it just click right on next? Okay, perfect.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Fawzi Ibrahim. I'm representing...
Can you pull that mic a little bit closer to you? The microphone is working. It's just not... We'll work on it later.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Fawzi Ibrahim. I'm representing Zinnia Sofra for the special exemption for our property. Who we are, my wife and I immigrated from Egypt in 2000. We came directly from Egypt to Athens, Georgia. I got my doctorates from the University of Georgia. Then we moved to South Florida. I used to work as an assistant professor at Florida Atlantic University. Then I moved to work as assistant professor at Nova Southeastern University. 2006, I was diagnosed with brain tumor. I came here for the first time. I did my brain surgery at Chance. And 3 years later, I have the brain tumor again, 2009. And I kept going back and forth every month to see my neurosurgeon, so I decided I need to move to Gainesville. So I bought my property in 2010, and the whole family moved to Newberry, Maronda Homes. In 2011, I started building my house. Took me 2.5 years to build the house. I moved in 2013.
It was a very interesting process to watch there. Everybody was like, wow, look at that. That's going to be great. Yeah.
2.5 years and never finish. And we start our farm, Zizania farm, in 2014. We basically start raising some chickens, some goats, some sheep, and then we enlarge and we start growing some blueberry and some peaches, plums, guava trees, and stuff like that. We opened Zizania market in 2016. In Southwest 13th Street in Gainesville. It's international market, Middle Eastern, Turkish, Persian, and Greek. And we used to have a restaurant inside, small cafe, but we closed it due to some health issues. So at the farm, we own another farm in Live Oak, which is bigger size. We use to feed our small farm here. We raise cows, chicken, goats, and sheep over there. I have someone living on the farm over there. At the farm here, we have a little bit of everything. We have blueberry, blackberry, guava, sugarcane, and different kind of vegetables. And last year, we opened the farm for pick your own. Free of charge for our neighbors and our customers. They enjoy it. We have some
Just for fair disclosure, I never went and picked anything. Never went and picked anything. I should have.
And many of our customers who come to the store came to the farm. They like the idea, but we can't offer them anything to drink, especially during the summer and the hot. So they recommended to offer some kind of juice or ice cream or any sandwiches or something like that. And we thought about the idea, and I've been discussing it with Jim Ball since then. So. What we are proposing is we will use north entrance of Southwest 46th Avenue for this project, which is separate from the main entrance for our house. And the property is zoned Agriculture A. And the code allows to open with special exemption approval to open what is called small-scale rural event center. And in the code, they provide a description what is a small-scale rural event center. And one of the things that it's allowed with special exemption is farm-to-table cafe, which our application is based on today. We have 3 goals for our project. This project will be our retirement project for me and my wife, to save the extra fruit from going to waste. Last year we lost a lot of blueberry and peaches because not everyone, although I announced it in Facebook and other social media for people to come and pick, but I still have a lot of fruits. So we would like to save these fruits to make some kind of pies, ice cream, juice with affordable prices. Second, we would like to provide like an affordable meal for our customer and our neighbor and our community, and different cuisine, different from the American cuisine or Mexican or Chinese cuisine. I would like everyone to try the Egyptian cuisine. And third, I would like to provide an educational opportunity for young kids and student schools to come and see what is farming mean, how to grow some certain vegetables, how to grow some certain trees, how to raise a chicken, how to take care of a goat, and so forth. Our menu, it will be very, very limited menu. What we will cook for the weekend, this is our menu, not to exceed 3-4 items. Some of them will be vegetarian, some of them be non-vegetarian. For the vegetarian, we'll offer garlic sauce, hummus, and falafel, stuff like that. For the meat item, we'll offer smoked chicken, kebab, and some lamb. All our animals is antibiotic free. We don't use any antibiotic, we don't use any hormone, it's all natural. All my animals I raise here at this farm or the other farm are fed alfalfa hay. And we'll, of course, we'll offer some juice and some ice cream. We will not allow any alcoholic beverages on the property. We are not going to offer it. And we will request from our customer not to bring any alcoholic beverages to the farm. Hours of operation, I requested 10 to 7, but Mr. Jean Paul generously put it from 7 to 9, and hopefully in the winter we are not going to stay that long. There will be no impact on traffic, especially it will be in the weekend only. Barking, all the barking will be inside. I have enough barking inside the area, inside the farm, so there will be no outside barking at all. And if we see any car barking outside, we will direct them to come inside and bark inside the property. I have several discussions with Mr. Perez about the conditions. There is like, I believe, 11 or 12 conditions, and we went back and forth, and we approve all of them with the negotiation. So all of the conditions that he put forth is applicable. Thank you so much, and looking for your recommendation for approval.
All right, thank you, sir. John Paul, you want to finish the city's presentation?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Again, John Paul Perez, Community Development Department. I'll be presenting the findings in our recommended motion. We're asked to start all of our presentations for the recommended motion, so it'll be pretty anticlimactic towards the end of my presentation. Sorry about that. The image on the screen currently is the proposed site plan. There's a few structures on the property that were built with the ag exemption. There's a condition that follows that asks that they don't allow gathering under those structures unless they obtain a building permit from the city. I'm sure that Dr. Ibrahim has done a fantastic job with constructing or even over-constructing the structures, but
That's when I'm going in a zombie apocalypse.
yeah, certainly, yeah, it looks
Got the
pretty
wall
safe.
and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're still waiting on the application for the moat and drawbridge, but we've been told it's on the way.
Good idea. Yeah.
Certainly. But he'll be doing gravel parking. Sorry, that's really loud, huh?
Well, we got our tech guy here. We got the tech guy here, so now everybody's on super volume.
It'll be an existing like 2-track road going into what will be a gravel parking spot. They'll have ADA parking. Nothing about this application screamed like it was violating kind of the sanctuary that is that area. This particular lot is encumbered by a restrictive covenant for Hampton Hills, and just checking that, he provided us a document that the prior owner and creator, I guess, of Hampton Hills had exempted this particular property from some of the requirements, hence some of those structures being closer to the property than is permitted by, or to the property line than is permitted by the restrictive covenants. Ultimately, city's not party to it, so we can't really enforce it, but we can use it when evaluating applications to make sure everything is copacetic. Here's a close-up just showing some of the improvements. This may change as far as like the path of travel and the final location of the bathrooms. Bathrooms will require a building permit. All of these uses require some sort of license or permitting of some sort. Unfortunately, we can't, or fortunately, I'm not sure which direction or opinion you want to have on it, but we cannot hold up an application for another agency's permitting process. So we just added a condition that they'll abide and obtain all those and notify us if any of them become revoked or no longer honored by that agency. Again, the criteria we evaluated, everything looks great as far as what's being provided on the property, and now I'm going to go through the conditions of approval. I've highlighted on the screen just the ones that kind of stand out as what the entire sentence is about, and I'll just be going through that. I won't be reading it verbatim for you. So we're just limited to the serving of products raised on the property as the main ingredients, and does include some supplemental ingredients as well. Hours of operation are for 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. No broadcasting or amplification of music outdoors. Shall not put lights on the property that'll cause glare for the neighbors. If they're up early or still operating at a later hour, they won't be disrupting their neighbors, their homesteads or farmsteads that they maintain. No gathering under those structures that have not received a building permit from the city, just to ensure everybody's safe and the city doesn't end up in a lawsuit. They'll obtain all the necessary permits to operate their business as they've proposed it. They must notify the city of the revocation of any of those licenses or permits to operate the business within 14 days of that action happening by that agency. They have to comply with all the tax laws for sure, as we all do. And any intensification must be authorized by the Board of Adjustment, so that'll come back through the process if it gets more intense. Say they're adding more parking spots, say they're adding additional bathrooms, they're providing additional food options. Not necessarily a change in the menu, but they want to expand to sell, they have a pizza oven on the property now. That's not something that we're really contemplating, and they don't raise wheat on the property, which is the main ingredient. So it'll be, any intensification would come back to the board for review and consideration. No permanent off-site signs. Off-site signs are permitted or are allowed as a special exception in agricultural zoning districts, but that's a totally separate request from what's being asked tonight. So if they want to have an off-site sign somewhere, they'll have to come back before the board for permission to do so. Not saying it doesn't happen, though. Building permits for permanent signage are required. That's just memorializing that. And termination of the use for a period of 6 months will be a revocation of the resolution authorizing the establishment of the use, and so they'll need to come back to reestablish it if it does, for some reason, discontinue for 6 months. Given that, staff does find it generally satisfies the criteria of the special exceptions, consistent with the land development regulations and comprehensive plan. And we also find that approving the request would not negatively impact public interest. And with that, our recommended motion is a motion to recommend the Board of Adjustment adopt the resolution with staff's conditions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. That's going to open the floor for public comment. Any members of the public here wishing to speak to this agenda item, make a queue, come on right down. You do have to state your name for quasi judicial. Pull that microphone down or up, whatever you need. Go right ahead, man.
Hi, I'm Monica LaRue. I am one of Dr. Abrahim's neighbors. I just wanted to speak to his character. He's always been a wonderful neighbor and a wonderful human. I have health issues, and he's always texting, checking in, making sure I'm okay, and just kind of, being a kind human. And he he came to each of us, each of the neighbors, and let us know about this. So I'm here to support him, and we're really excited about the proposition of this happening. So I just wanted to show my support and say he's a great man. So
Well, we appreciate that. It's always nice to hear about ideas that are well loved by the neighbors. Other public comment, come on down.
Thank you. My name is Maria Kelly, and it's my pleasure to be here tonight. I want to thank you for that. I actually live a few houses down from Dr. Ibrahim, and I'm representing myself and also some of our surrounding neighbors. And I want to say that I feel like this proposal does align perfectly with the values of our agricultural community in the southwest Newberry area where we live. And for me, those values are promoting sustainable farming, it is healthy living, it is community engagement, and also supporting local economic growth. In recent years, our local area has faced some proposals that we didn't agree with. And this one, in contrast, really represents a responsible, thoughtful development that I really think enhances our community, and that is why we really want to support this. I outlined a few reasons why we do support it. The first one is that it preserves our agricultural identity. This will celebrate and preserve Newberry's agricultural roots. It ensures that farmland remains productive and continues to serve its intended purpose. Number two, this does strengthen our local economy. It sources food directly from a local farmer. And also, it keeps revenue within our community and creates opportunities for small-scale agriculture. Number three, it promotes health and sustainability. We're talking about farm-fresh food, locally sourced meals, and encourages healthier eating habits and reduces the environmental impact of transporting food long distances. It builds community, it attracts visitors, and creates a welcome gathering place for neighbors and visitors, creates a sense of togetherness, and just contributes to Newberry's charm. 5, minimal environmental and noise impact. This really is going to be a positive addition to our area. It's going to blend seamlessly into our local landscape and really preserves the peaceful character of our surroundings. And lastly, and most importantly to me, is it's led by a trusted, caring neighbor. Really, Dr. Ibrahim is more than just a business owner. He's a pillar in our community. Just like Monica said, during times of struggle, whether it's power outages, hurricanes, he is one of the first to check on neighbors, bring you food, and offer help in any way he can. When his peaches and blueberries ripen, he is on the phone or texting and asking if you want to come over and pick them. And I have done that quite a few times, and you're missing out. And I really have no doubt that his kindness and commitment to his neighbors and those around him will be the same type of responsibility and care that he will show to this business. And so for that, I ask all of you to please support this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody want to follow that? Come on down.
Greg Smith. I really can't add to what was just said by Dr. Kelly, other than say she did a great job. I'm probably one of the, here tonight, closest neighbors to the location, and have been, over the years, interested in all that's going on there, the things that are happening. You never hear any problems. You never hear the animals or anything, loud noises. It's always low-key. And as they have said, in times, he's there if you need him. And I did take advantage of getting some peaches. My wife filled up our freezer with peaches. We're still eating peaches.
So there's some cobbler coming soon is what I'm hearing.
She mainly uses them for fruit smoothies.
Oh, okay.
But I would say to you, this is something we would like to see happen in our neck of the woods. It's something that will be a positive impact. And I just believe that the people would come to it and enjoy it.
Thank you,
So I'm
sir.
asking you to support it.
We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Come on down, sir.
Hi, my name's Jeff Holcomb. So I'm a neighbor of Dr. Ibrahim's as well. I live about a mile south of him. And I just want to voice my support for this as well. I think there's a lot of great agritourism farms in the area, Red, White, and Blues, which I think is Amberbrook Farms in Williston, is a great place to go. You know, it's a fun day for the whole family, and this is even closer, almost walking distance. Briar Patch is another one, a U-Pick type farm, which is great. And I think establishments like this are just really a good highlight for our community, and it's going to hopefully bring people in, keep people in Newberry, doing stuff around town on the weekends. And really looking forward to some more diverse and ethnic options for food in town. You know, we've got new restaurants popping up, but some of them are kind of the same old thing. Thanks very
Thank
much.
you, sir. We appreciate you. Anybody else? Come on down, young lady. Don't be nervous.
My name is Joanne Foss. I'm battling a cold. My name is Joanne Foss, and I live on the opposite side of these folks. We live on 46th Avenue, and in fact, the driveway for this venture would be just a little further west of our home. We're in that brick house that's there. We're generally supportive of, and we just have the usual worries that people have in a rural area. We moved there because we wanted a quiet, nice, not an urban area. And so many of our questions that we came here to hear were in that packet, and so that's helped us a lot. One of the things that we do have some issues, but they're kind of funny. We have a lot of vultures. And we always know when they used to butcher the animals on their property, that we always knew the vultures let us know very quickly that they were doing that. But that's really been the only thing that's happened. So I guess my one question is, how many weekends are we talking about? Are we talking about, just the spring for the blueberries and the peaches, as the guavas come in and that sort of thing? So that's, I guess, want to know what the long-term impact of weekend would be.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate that. And thank you so much for coming and listening to the presentation and saying, yeah, the information in the presentation answered a lot of the questions. So many residents don't do that. So I appreciate when residents do. Okay, that's going to move us to cross-examinations. Doctor, did you hear anything from staff that you want to cross-examine? No? John Paul, did you hear anything from the applicant that you want to cross-examine?
No, did you want me to respond to the weekend question?
Well, let's wait till we get to questions.
Yes, sir.
I'm pretty sure somebody's going to use that as a question. Okay. Members of the decision-making body, Ms. Parker, were you reaching for a mic there? All right, go ahead, Ms.
I
Parker.
I
Yes.
have questions.
You want to start with the weekend question?
Sure.
Yeah.
What's your plans for the weekends? Is it every weekend? Is it seasonal? Is it?
And doctor, you can answer or you can pass to John Paul, whoever is best to answer it. But yeah, you know the answer probably on that one best.
If we look at the kind of vegetables and fruit that we are growing at the farm, maybe the only 2 months, or I can say 3 months in the entire year will be December and January, where I will not have any kind of fruit or vegetables, but I will have plums, I have blueberry. I could start my blueberry pick up last week, but I have the freeze, and this put me down. I have the strawberry ready to pick up like 2 weeks ago, but the freeze killed most of my plants, and hopefully they can grow back again. So December and January, there will be no pickup at all. Maybe August will be, because of the heat, there will be no vegetables and stuff. But I will have plums, I will have sour plums, I will have guava, I will have the sugar cane, I will have fig, I will have oranges. So all these, I just need the...
So 10 months a year, every weekend,
Yeah, every weekend.
you'll be going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next question.
So this is more, I guess, future planning, and I don't know if you'll see this in your future. So thoughts on hosting larger events. So sometimes Amber Brook or those types of farms will host larger events for something seasonal, or they have live music out there for something. If you do plan on that, what is the plan for parking at that point?
No, I don't plan
No,
to do
not
this.
gonna do anything like that.
This is mainly my main point, as I discussed when I discussed our 3 goals. And also, I need just my neighbors, the community, customer we know from Gainesville. There is a plan for my store in Gainesville. I'm not sure if it will go through or not. We need people to come together, sit, and have some kind of just direct social interaction rather than just texting and using the phone and social media and Facebook. We need to go back to the old style life where people can talk and have face-to-face interaction.
I
But
love the
don't-
idea.
But I don't plan to have large-scale events at all.
Okay.
Yeah, the property does not hold it. I don't want to be the bad neighbor for my neighbors. So,
Well, it sounds like you're doing good on that part, and I do love the idea, so awesome.
you.
Polo, Orchard, anyone? Board Member Polo?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have any questions. I just wanted to say it's a nice, refreshing opportunity to see everybody, even if it's not maybe the most exciting thing, which it sounds like it still is, for everybody to come together. And I just wanted to say thank you for fostering that kind of relationship in Newberry, because I think that's what makes our community
miss it.
amazing. That's all I have.
Board Member Orchard?
The only thing I got to say is this is a heartfelt thank you. Thank you, because hearing what your neighbors have to say, sometimes we come into this meeting and we see crowds and we think something so simple, and it's like, you kind of hold your breath, and then hearing, all these positive accolades of how great you are and what a
Thank you.
prime example of a neighbor is. So it's a breath of fresh air. I think what you're trying to do is amazing. And you had me at guava. So
Yes. I've been trying to grow guava for 15 years. I spent $18,000 3 years ago. I built a greenhouse and failed. And last year, I planted them in pots, 55-gallon pots. I have a bunch of guava. I still have them in my freezer. This year, I did sprinkler systems, and it worked for the most part. So hopefully this summer we'll have some guava.
okay, I was gonna say I could talk to some of my Cuban friends in Miami, and we could.
My guava is different.
Okay.
Well, don't go far, Doc.
Yes,
I
sir.
got some questions for John Paul. John Paul, does the special exception follow the land or the applicant?
In this particular case, it's the use. So when the use goes away, it doesn't transfer to the next owner or applicant, as you said, sir.
So what if the use is ongoing and the applicant sells the land? Can the use continue?
No,
No, so it does follow the applicant.
correct.
I'm a little bit worried about the 6-month thing, because I've never seen that as a stipulation before. I appreciate the idea, but let's say it's December and then there's a really bad freeze and he loses his winter. Well, then it's 6 months before we're into the next summer. So talk to me about the thinking behind, if he's dormant for just 6 months, he loses. I also worry about that from an enforcement standard. No one's going to be out there seeing and saying, well, I think it's been a month. Has it been a month? Has it been 5 weeks? When was the last time somebody went out there? So it seems a little bit onerous on our end to enforce, and it seems like would be a kind of a tough, overbearing stipulation on him if he ever said, you know what, last year I didn't make money on whatever one season is.
Yeah.
Tell me what the thought was behind that.
So that is the way it is written in the codes. That's
The
just
special exception?
correct. Yes. So if you discontinue either a lawful nonconforming use or just a nonconforming use generally, 6 months it goes away.
What is discontinued? How is discontinued defined as?
That's the gray area that folks get into.
Tell
So
you. I bet a lawyer wrote that. So is discontinued him saying, I discontinue, or is discontinued,
we would probably
I just haven't opened the doors in a month?
Yeah, we would. We would look for their business tax receipt, we would look for
Okay.
their articles of incorporation, make sure they're maintaining their corporation with the state, any sort of licensure that they need to maintain for operating the business. We
So
would
if
back
he's
that
sick
up.
for a weekend, that doesn't count. That's not what we're talking about.
Correct,
Right? We're talking
yeah.
about some sort of official end as that we would point to and say, from this moment forward, he could notify us and say, the guava, Naeem's going to hate it. The guava's not coming in this year. And we would say, okay, that's fine. You're still in operation.
Those things are expected, and
Okay.
them not selling every single weekend would not be a reason for us to say that they've discontinued the use. It would be, we would need to be able to stand before somebody like Scott Walker and say with a straight face that they've not operated their business in 6 months straight, and that would be more than just interruption in service for a number of reasons. They have clearly abandoned the business, and that would be what we would need to be.
Before I go to the next, does this caveat give you any heartburn?
I just have some things that I want to mention. I don't want to say it in front of my daughters.
You want to ask them to step outside? This has been a family-friendly conversation so far, but we have a beautiful lobby out there. I don't know, the
So, but-
audio may be projected out there.
Due to some health issues, I may go for a surgery that put me out of business for a while. Okay, so
Okay.
if something like this, I need to notify the city.
No, and
Okay.
that's kind of what I was hearing too. That wouldn't count, right? So it would be something like you've lost a permit or you've notified us that you're shutting down.
Okay.
Right.
Okay,
If you're sick for an extended period of time, you don't want to do a crop 1 year.
Okay.
That's not what we're talking about.
okay.
Okay. I probably just missed it. I didn't see a sunset. Normally we do a sunset. So is there a time that he has to be up and running in order for this to work if he doesn't get off the ground
Great.
in a year?
Great question. Yeah, the code dictates 6 months they need to establish the use.
Can you get a bathroom built in 6 months?
Yeah.
No, he's contracted these days. My fingers are crossed for you.
Yes, sir.
And then my last question is, one last question for you, John Paul. Does he get the CO? I know we don't, and I agree, we don't want to hold you up while you're getting everything else,
Yes,
but
sir.
does he have to have all the other permits before he has the CO from us? Does he, all clear from Food and Drug Administration, all clear from those kinds of things before we say you can open for business?
Can I?
We'll know the answer to that before we get to the BOA.
Yeah, so I've been in communication with Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, and my plan was approved. So once I have everything in place, and they will send an inspector and issue me the permit.
Because that would be my last. Sometimes they say, I like that, and we're going to have you through this system in a
everything
very
went
short
through.
12 months.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been in communication with them for 6 weeks, going back and forth, back and forth.
What I would
Like-
say is, let's maybe add one more condition onto like the 3 slides that just, we make sure the time that he gets approval coincides with something that's a very good timeline for him to actually have those other permits in hand. So what I don't want is we approve it, there's a 6-month sunset, and then you don't get a permit till 7 months, and then we got to come back and do all this over again.
Certainly.
Does that make
But,
sense? I don't know if I said that quite right.
It does.
Budget.
Just a reminder for the board that state of Florida often extends approvals like this through executive orders from the governor's office, and there's several out currently that are still active and honored. That gives them 90 days, or I'm sorry, 60 days plus 6 months generally. That 6 months is told, the 90 days is always given. And so there are opportunities to do that. I don't know if, and I may lean on Scott here, can we give a premature extension for the 6 month to establish the use?
If we get into a situation like that, John Paul, then administratively, we can extend.
Awesome.
So
That
not a
sounds-
problem.
I would agree.
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
agree with
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
The direction would be to staff, make sure that we don't get into a timeline issue.
Certainly. Yep.
Okay.
I
I appreciate
believe the
that.
city of Newberry will not issue me like occupational license unless I get the Florida Department of Agriculture permission, food permission.
Well, I'm
So
not sure I
the food-
understood the first part of that question. What
So
license?
the food permit has to come first, then the city will issue me the license. And
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if this special exception has a 6-month window, I want to make sure that you get everything else that you need for it to open the doors before that 6-month window
Yes, sir.
closes.
Yes, sir.
So I know it sounds like you've got everything lined up.
Yes, sir.
But just on the off chance that the contractor can't get the bathroom built or the state is very slow in issuing the permits, I don't want you to have to come back and do all of this again. I don't want our staff to come back and do all this again. So whatever we need to put in the motion as a caveat to make sure that we're saying we approve it and we approve staff to work with the applicant on a calendar that makes sure everything will align in the correct time frame, and you guys will make that sound a lot better when you write it up than,
Yes, sir.
and bring it. Yeah, so it can come back to the BOA with the same caveat, right? My last question is, I know that you said in the application that you don't plan on live music or amplified music, and I know the neighbors love that, but I really can't see coming out there and getting a real Egyptian cultural experience without just a little bit of something playing in the background. So, I mean, if I'm sitting there eating,
I promise you.
can we have just a little, like nothing
I-
loud, just like a decibel, 1 decibel? Can I get a decibel?
I don't think so, but
No?
maybe, but my main
I bet your daughter
reason-
plays an instrument. Can she
Yeah.
play acoustics?
Yeah.
Can we get some acoustic music? Can we?
My main reason is I just want people to talk.
Right.
I
Okay.
don't want anyone to listen to the music. Oh, what is this music? I like it, and just not
All right.
get involved in the discussion.
I mean, if you're firm on it, that's fine. But I take students overseas, and music and food is kind of all parts of the talking, right? So I love very soft background music.
Yeah.
Sometimes most of the restaurants I go to are too loud for me. I can't hear, but I do.
Perhaps a cultivated music list and your headphones could take care of that for you.
It's not a shared musical experience then. Okay, all right. That's it for me. Any other questions that conversation elicited? Hearing none, we're going to move. Would you like to make a final argument? You don't have to.
I'm good.
Okay. John Paul, would you like to make a final argument?
No, sir, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, would you please advise decision-making bodies applicable law and factual findings that must be made to approve?
Substantial and competent evidence.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. We'll enter into deliberations. If there are no deliberations, I'll have a motion that would also include all of the recommendations and the last recommendation to work on the calendar at administrative approval.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion from Board Member Polo,
Second.
second from Board Member Parker. Any comments, questions, motion on the floor for the dais? Public comments or questions on motion on the floor? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously, and now that we're out of quasi judicial, Doctor, I just want to add my thanks. I talk to people a lot about losing agriculture to houses, and I think that what you're proposing, that is the answer, right? It is farmers taking it upon themselves to open up, and then the next step is the neighbors actually going and supporting and buying that food, and the way you're doing it, this is the right way to do it. I drive by farmers markets all the time with nobody there, and then I hear people complain about the loss of agricultural fields, So I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate the briar patch down the road. I think both of you working in conjunction is going to be a lot of fun. It'll give me a whole row of things to do on a Saturday. I appreciate it. All right, that will close our quasi judicial, and we will go to our first agenda item, which is a reappointment of planning and zoning board members. As a special thank you, everybody can leave. Y'all don't have to stay till the end of the
You do
night.
not have to stay. Good evening, Stacy Hectus, Community Development Director. I just wanted to update the board on the appointment of the extension of the appointment of 3 members of our board. Thank you for volunteering again, even though 2 of them are not here. It's for Mr. Donald Long, Miss Kathy Thomas, and Miss Ann Polo. We appreciate it. You'll be extended for 1 year, and so we will see you back again for reappointment, hopefully, or whatever you decide to do in a year. Upcoming in April will be the appointment of either the 2 of you or the 2 other people that have applied for the commission to decide after the election in April.
All right. Thank you for that update. We
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
No problem.
Topics for members' discussion?
Oh,
Board Member
yes.
Parker.
Speaking of things to do on Saturday, the Barbecue and Blues Festival by the Main Street Organization is coming on February 22nd from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So, and they are looking for barbecue teams. So either professional or private, they are looking for people to come out and cook and get judged. So, and I think the judges are very excited to eat. So, well, you don't have to judge or be judged, but come attend, please. It's always a good time. Lots of cars, live music. It's a good time. So come on out.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you for that. Board Member Polo?
As a broken record, I'm going to remind everybody that the Newberry High School boys and girls lacrosse teams are looking for sponsors currently. So if you are interested in doing that, we are interested in promoting your business. I am the voice of the Newberry Lacrosse Panthers, both the boys and the girls. So you can come listen to me
All right.
talk about your business awesomely from the sound booth.
And the level of awesomeness depends on the level of donation. Absolutely, right? And I'm just saying, Newberry Athletics having a great year. It really depends on the community.
Which
So
you're
let's
gonna-
support the lacrosse,
Yes.
the oldest sport in America.
What you're going to have to bear with me is the fact that the other teams get announced a little bit, monotone. Welcome Santa Fe, give me this, and then I go kind of crazy for our team. So
Yeah, that's what we expect in Newberry. Thank you, ma'am. Board Member Urchin. Citizen of the Year Urchin, I'm sorry.
I appreciate that. First, I want to say congrats to our Newberry High School boys soccer team on their district championship. They're going, I believe, to regionals now and looking for sponsors to help with that trip. Big congratulations as well to the girls soccer team, and they did come up with runners-ups in districts, which is an amazing thing for our soccer team in the past couple of years. And a huge shout out to Coach Green and our boys basketball team, currently undefeated. So I just want to make sure that that's very well known. Those boys look like they're having a ton of fun out there. It's exciting to watch when you see them having fun playing the game that they love. I want to thank everybody that took the time to vote for the Chamber of Commerce event. Thank you for your votes for Citizen of the Year. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to serve our city.
Congratulations, Naeem.
Thank you.
Yep,
Thank
yep,
you.
yep.
And I do want to express a heartfelt thank you to Mike Neal for the years of dedication you've given our city, for the countless hours of dealing with me personally when I've, don't agree with something or, or I annoy you on the side and you're like, no, you can't say that on the dais. I really do appreciate it. You're going to be greatly missed, and I hope you really do enjoy your retirement. You well deserved, and thank you for all you've done for our city.
I'll let you know.
Oh, well, Westfest will continue on, sir.
Thank you for all that. I appreciate the Newberry Area Chamber, everything that happened to put on the Newberry Notables. It was a great night. I love the new format of just being able to get there. I really appreciate the residents of Newberry voting the city of Newberry as the community and legacy winner. I thought that was just an amazing testament. That week's going to be busy. Barbecue on the Saturday. On Thursday, it's the State of the City. 6:30 p.m. We'll have a taste of Newberry. A lot of the local establishments will send something over. 7 o'clock, we will have the State of the City address, and we will recollect and reflect on all the year's accomplishments. It's going to be fun. I've already seen the draft, and I'm exhausted just thinking about everything we got done last year. That will do it for me. Mr. Attorney, you got anything? Ms. Stacy, you got anything?
I don't. Thank you.
We are adjourned.